And good morning and welcome to Things You Might Have Heard for today. Today is Thursday, the 19th of January, 2023. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne, about to bring you yesterday's latest in information, politics, current events, and pop culture. As your go-to source for unconventional stories that the mainstream media might overlook, we are pleased to give you, as your new side piece, good care and great stories and some things that definitely were not blasted on the news. Now we do have some big stuff going on, including some details on the Brian Walsh murder case, or Ana Walshe murder case, specifically Brian Walsh being covered. But we also have the teaser graphic with the Chrisleys and 6 other stories that you deemed as conversational, curated by me for the better stories there. We'll explain how all that works in just a bit, or in about 12 minutes or so, once we get through all the headlines, so how you can be a part of the vetting process. But make sure you stick around for more things after that, including the fun stuff we do, the today stuff, and just have a great own time. Check out our website, thisisaconversationproject.com. That is thisisaconversationproject.com for more details on the things we do in total at the Conversation Project, and we'll explain some more of those things after the headlines. So if you don't want the chat and the salesy stuff, stick for the headlines. We'll be done about 10-12 minutes. Let's get to headline number 1, if you will. Of course, like I said, curated by me, but vetted by you up front. We're starting off pretty gruesomely, so just bear with us. Brian Walsh arraigned on murder charge in disappearance of his wife, Ana Walshe. And hopefully I'm saying it Walsh properly. I believe that's how it's being said. Ana Walshe was reported missing on January the 4th. Has not been seen since New Year's Day. Her husband was the prime suspect in what was going on. He was arrested on January 8th on the charge of misleading a police investigation. It's turned into a murder charge, and it's turned to a murder charge even though there is no body, for a lot of forensic evidence, a lot of things found, and a lot of the old pesky DNA. What really sort of sunk Mr. Walsh is the fact that they were able to sneak through a lot of his internet searches, and they were pretty much pointing to the fact that he was going to kill somebody. How long does it take for a body to decompose? What happens when you use formaldehyde? What happens to hair as a body decomposes? How long does it take for a body to smell? What's the best state to get a divorce in? Can you get arrested and charged for murder without a body? Looking up other people's phones, looking things on his son's iPad, basically any device he could find, he was looking for stuff for a long time on what to do. It looks like a murder. If we're worried about the Idaho killing and how that seems like a guy who's learning forensics could be a killer, this guy basically did it the wrong way. Though I guess not going to college for a few years to learn it is a whole lot cheaper. We're going to see how this thing plays out, because this thing's getting gruesomer and gruesomer every day, and weirder every day. But this is kind of one of the main stories people talked about all day long as the arraignment happened, going live with all the details that were released on this story. Story number 2 reads like this. The headline, at least. Carole Baskin says dead husband, that's in air quotes, or that's in quotes, as you can read it, was found alive, but no one noticed. Carole Baskin revealed her ex, who was declared legally dead in 2002, was actually alive and well in November 2021 in an interview from there. She talked about how her husband was just living his life in Costa Rica, well and alive, but no one seemed to pick up on this thing. Now, remember, Carole Baskin as one of the characters, and we'll just call her a character from the whole Tiger King whatchamacallit that we all got sucked into during the pandemic. She's able to parlay that infamy to D-level status as a celebrity, and even a chance on Dancing with the Stars. And the sort of really big sort of, not even revealed, just one of the weird things inside the story is the whole Carole Baskin and the dead husband, who's not dead. Click the link, look more of it, rewatch Tiger King if you really, really must. I suggest you don't do that part, but to get back into the life of Carole effing Baskin, if you dare. Let's move on to the next story on the list. Bangor News Online, Bangor Daily News Online, Bangor Daily News, that's the newspaper, omits MLK's I Have a Dream speech. Because they're all online, I'm getting confused. The Bangor Daily News posted a version of King's famous speech on MLK Day, but it skipped over massive sections of King's remarks when he called for an end to racial discrimination and demanded equal rights, and economic opportunities for all Americans. They took out a big chunk of the part where they describe African Americans being victimized by police brutality and segregation. kind of the real meat and heart of the speech, essentially saying that black people have been oppressed and they've been oppressed for a while, but that time is changing, and the time will come where all people will feel free and feel, happy and be able to live in peace and more or less harmony. Something like that. That's kind of where the speech was going. That's not exactly what the Bangor Daily News put out there for people to read. This is a gross injustice. This is really, really, really bad. When you take out bits and pieces of the context, and don't tell people you're taking out bits and pieces that change the context, it changes the narrative, changes the story, changes what people get. It's cherry picking history. It's saying, good things about stuff, but leaving out all the bad stuff and that are obvious side effects that happen there. It's the whole Hitler went too far type stuff. Yes, I went there. It's saying things that just don't make any sense, to gloss over the fact that there were bad things that happened, and it's part of the story. The narrative happens. You've got to say the whole speech, got to the whole speech. Excerpts, lines here or there, but you're going to print the entire speech. You've got to print the entire speech. George Santos denies scamming disabled veteran by raising money for their dog's cancer treatment. Yeah, that's basically it. George Santos has lied again. Way back in the day, there was a homeless veteran who had a dog who was suffering from a tumor, was going to die, and George Santos's fake charity set up a GoFundMe that raised about $3,000 for the dog, and then did not give the man $3,000. Cut off the GoFundMe and said, "I don't know who this person is." George Santos. That seemed like it should have been planned, but it wasn't. I don't know what's going on with that, but hey, worked out pretty well for me. Let's go on to this next story. Lisa Marie Presley's cause of death deferred, coroner says. Now, Lisa Marie Presley died after she was rushed to the hospital from her Calabasas home after experiencing a cardiac event. The cause of death has not been determined, and it's been called deferred. Deferred. What does that mean? That means they're not letting us know what's going on. They're slow rolling, if you will, the autopsy and the release of the information. Why would they do that? There are many reasons why they would do that, but we don't know because they're not telling us why they're deferring it. We will know soon, because as a public figure, as a person of note, people want to and need to know these things. And of course, as a public record, it has to go into the records of a cause of death. But right now, we have to wait and see for a little bit longer. NFL media now accusing Cowboys kicker of point shaving after game ends 0.5 points below the Vegas total. So Brett Maher was the kicker for the Dallas Cowboys, who had a historically bad night, missing 4 extra points. That's 4 points, period, on the score. Final score for that one, I believe, was like 27-7 or something. I can't remember top of the head. That was the Cowboys versus Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday night. Now, some Vegas folks and NFL media people are chit-chatting because the way the points went down. Somehow, the score was able to get below the spread at 0.5 points by a tiny margin. And besides the fact that the Patriots, that's a slip right there. Like the fact that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers could not score that night, and the Cowboys had all the power, but missed the tiny chip shots that were the extra points. We'll probably not get very much out of this, and chances are this is just one of those fluke happening of things. But it's really hard to do something that intricate. Maybe he did. Maybe he's smarter than all of us. And when they kick him off the team and is not kicking next week, he's rolling in money because he's getting paid by the folks in Vegas that asked him to shave the points. Who knows? We probably never will. Let's go to this story here. Todd and Julie Chrisley report to federal prisons to begin sentences. Now, there were a lot of stories to put in today, and the top 15 stories that you came out with today, there were a lot of good stories, interesting stories, and important stories, but we couldn't let this one go because we follow the Chrisleys. Todd and Julie Chrisley are reporting to their prison sentences that they were given back in November. Found guilty of conspiracy to defraud banks and tax crimes. They maintain their innocence and are appealing their cases. However, because nobody really knows what they do other than be on TV and smile really big, it's one of those things where you can't really fault people for wanting to see them go to jail. Now, we can fault all the family drama that comes along with it. And of course, they adopted their granddaughter a few years back to make her an extra cast member, most likely. And of course, she needs some care, and their daughter is going to watch her over this time here as they serve their sentence together. When they serve them together, it means they'll both be done faster, which is the good part of this thing. They'll be done quicker, won't have to concurrent. If you remember back when Jesse Jackson Jr. and his wife were indicted in charge, they had many kids. So what they did for them was they split the jail time. One went to jail first, the other one got out, the other one went to jail second, and they were able to take care of the kids. Because of the resources of having more family, Todd and Julie are going to get their sentence out pretty quickly. And if they're lucky, they may appeal and get something out of it. They probably won't be lucky. We shall see on that one. Not trying to throw dirt under graves, but they probably won't be that lucky. It's been a slow reading day today. Jeremy Renner's Mayor of Kingstown's poster altered after snowplow accident. I'm sorry, this is one of my better shows, and I just can't butchering everything. Jeremy Renner's Paramount series Mayor of Kingstown marketing campaign images have been changed following the incident with the snowplow during the holiday. The Mayor of Kingston poster showed Renner's face bloody and battered, but it was cleaned up following the incident from January 1st. A 52-year-old was accidentally run over by a snowplow while clearing snow on his Reno land. A neighbor called 911 and told the operator that there was, quote, a lot of blood, and that Renner was conscious but in a lot of pain and taking shallow breaths. What we're seeing right now is Jeremy Renner may not be able to save the leg. That's a whole nother story we're seeing in the coverage. He has returned home, I believe, at least to Reno, to coalesce, get better, but he may not be able to properly walk based off that accident. We will keep you covered in that one going forward. Pardon me, folks. Just a little bit of clicking action. That's not in sync. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and do our teaser story right now. This is a story we may talk about tomorrow if you deem this one a conversation. On how do you do that? We'll get to that in just a bit. But here is the deal with the story. Times New Roman is getting the boot. Is getting booted out of the State Department. Tony Blinken's like, we're done with this. We're moving on. We don't need Times New Roman anymore. Is that an interesting story? Well, trust me, there's a lot of other things popping up that we could have put in there. There's also the fact that Donald Trump thought E. Jean Carroll was his wife, Marla, in the deposition, so which is obvious there. I know you'll jump to that one, but this is an interesting story. The State Department says they're going to get rid of Times New Roman as their official font. Is this interesting enough for you to talk about? Is this conversational? This is a real test. Go to our websites or go to their websites and our feeds on their websites, them being Facebook and Twitter, because we can tally the votes. Facebook.com/This Is a Conversation Project and Twitter.com/TH_conversation. Go to those websites, click on the links for our feeds, and as we post news stories every 50 minutes, read them, like them, love them, engage in them. The more engagement you get, the higher score we get for the morning. And as we say, every morning, I'll take the top 15 stories for Tuesday through Friday. So tomorrow, we'll take top 15 stories from about 30 to 35 stories that may get posted throughout the day. And we'll divide them up by the top 8 stories, or the 8 stories I think are the best in the conversation, best in the narrative, best in the story. If you vote up a story and it doesn't quite make it in, tell me about it. It could be it didn't quite make the top 15. It could be it got boosted for something. It could be Carole Baskin popped in there and we just had to put her in there. We just had to. You could not leave out Carole Baskin. That is what you got here. So if that is what you're missing, then you let me know. But you go to our feeds and you let me know what it is that you want to talk about. It's that simple. It's pretty plain. It works just like that. Now, let's talk about finances. Money for us and for you. We want to save you money and maybe save your bacon. We have partnered up with Flowers Fast, and you go to their site via our site, and we get a little money from them at Flowers Fast, and you get your flowers fast. What do you know? This is a conversationproject.com/flowersfast. This is a conversationproject.com/flowersfast for one of the best florists that are online. Now, they are attached to the FTD Floral Network, so they can basically call up any local FTD and get your flowers to you from wherever you are. And their service is so quick. If you call them early in the morning, you could probably get your flowers delivered by later that day. Same day delivery in many cases. And they have more than just flowers because they're connected to FTD. They have all of the various different gifts and snacks and toys and things you can send to people as a gift. And as we say, they send them fast, sometimes day of. If you're in a pinch and you know you need to get yourself out of something, maybe Flowers Fast can help. Go to thisisaconversationproject.com/flowersfast. Thisisaconversationproject.com/flowersfast. Click our affiliate link because we get a couple pennies off your purchase, but it costs you nothing extra to go to Flowers Fast. Let's go to this one. I didn't blow up the screen this time. I should have did that. This is talking about us, and this is the Conversation Project. Our home is thisisaconversationproject.com, and you can find there more information about the us, what we do, what other things we do, and what things we're doing for you and things we're doing with you. There's a page called Partnerships that if you believe we're giving you some fairly good content, you can partner up with us and help us do more content. There's a sponsorship page, pretty simple. Go find a sponsor, buy stuff from them. We get affiliate link payback from them, and the various other things we publish, including the weekly wrap up, the open conversations, the Your Welcome podcast, our newsletter, our stuff on the TikTok, and the podcast or the video. You may be listening to this via audio video. Maybe you want the audio video. Listening via a podcast through that link. Maybe you want to see the video sometimes. You may be watching the video and think, my face is really, really, really weird. I just want to hear the guy because his voice is so gravelly smooth. You could do that as well. Or you can get a newsletter where you can bypass both of those things. Just read the stories. It's there. Links to all those at our website. This is a conversationproject.com. Now it is time to have some fun. Let's go to the today things for today. Starting off with birthdays. Yay, birthdays. Dolly Parton, who is basically the most wonderfulest, sweetest person in the world, planet. She is. It just is. Turns 77 years old on the day. So we're going to wrap her up in bubble wrap. Have armed guards around here 24/7. Make sure that she's around for quite some time because we need us some Dolly Parton every freaking day. Birthday twins. Pete Buttigieg, who is the Secretary of Transportation, formerly Mayor Pete, maybe formerly Secretary Pete, the way things are going right now. Probably not President Pete, but he is 41 years old today. Congratulations for hitting that milestone. And birthday twin Jodie Sweetin, who is, TV sister to Candace Cameron Bure, and now TV rival, at least in Hallmark versions, to Candace Cameron Bure. 41 years old on the day. There were a lot of lame things today to celebrate, so we're going something simple, something easy. National Popcorn Day. Now, my daughter JJ is going to fight this one because she hates the texture of popcorn, kernels in her teeth, and all that stuff. So she's not a big fan of the popcorn, but most of us love some popcorn. So this is a simple one. Go to the store, grab a bag of popcorn, open it up, turn it up for your boys. Holler a couple of kernels, pop some, go buy some, take some to the office and start throw it in the air for people to catch in their mouth. Trust me, your boss will love it. He will love it. It's camaraderie. That's what it is. It's National Popcorn Day. Go get you some. Caramel corn is the best. Mix it up with a little bit of cheese and butter, and you've got yourself the best popcorn combination ever. Now, one more thing you might not have heard for the day. If you're too cold or too hot at the office, you can always adjust the thermostat, right? Maybe, if you have access to it. But it turns out that even if it's within your reach, it may be just a fake. Some air conditioning experts are saying a lot of the office thermostats aren't connected to anything. They're just there to give employees a feeling of control and to shut them up about how hot or cold it is. Sometimes the employer who's leasing office space doesn't even know the thermostat is a fake. Other times, it's the employer who arranges for it. One specialist in Illinois estimates that 90% of office thermostats are dummies. Apparently, I can't transcribe the 6 for 9. Maybe I'm a dummy, but I know about thermostats in offices, and I know some of them are fake. Although others say it's less than 2%. He says sooner or later, you just get tired of the complaints and you just attach a phony thermostat and, quote, they quit calling you. unquote. I have had an instance of this, but we knew the thermostat was real because we had a fight in one of the newsrooms between a guy and a lady. The lady was always cold, the guy was always hot, and the guy used to have a private office where he can blow cold all day long. He got moved into the newsroom, so it became a fight over the thermostat. And every time they fought over it, which was basically at least every 2 weeks, for heat or cold, it would freeze up the unit and then there'd be no heat nor cold for about 2-3 days. So they got it fixed. And then he fix it. And then, a week later, they'd fight over it and it'd break again. We love those guys. They hated each other, but we love those guys. Even for, all that stuff. I love you both. Love you, Gary, and love you, Donna. With that, let's wrap up for today because today has to happen. We have today things to actually do. My name is Jay Cleveland Payne. Thank you so much for being a part of this show today. Despite bad reading, a little bit of weird clickety click click and popping up. We had a lot of people show up on the live today. We had about 9-10 people at the max today. So thank you so much for joining us. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Left them a comment, left a message someplace so we can get back to you and you'll come back again. We listed off a whole bunch of other places that you can see us, do things with us going forward so you can be a part of the show again. If it's your first time, come back. Give me a response. Thumbs up or thumbs down. Let me know how things are going. As I say every day, stay hydrated, stay limber, and stay on task. So I take a quick sip for a hydration break. The whole point about that is the fact that there is a need for all of us to do great things wherever we are, even some things that may not seem so great, may not seem so big. You are needed in your community. And I need you to watch this show. So make sure you're doing everything you can to stay on task, stay good, stay well. If you need someone to talk to, we've talked as often. Call or text the new 988 suicide prevention lifeline if you know those dire straits. I have been there, so I understand. But in the meantime, I've got work to do. I got things going on, and you do too. So all I need you to do is make sure you're following us on our feeds on Facebook and Twitter, and watching the stories as pop along. And you let me know what we're going to chat about tomorrow because you voted in. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne. Thank you so much for the Thursday, January 19th edition, 2023 edition of Things You Might Have Heard. Let's do this again tomorrow.